everybody, this is Tim W. Leathertachi 1996, and welcome to the next episode of Season 4 of Godzilla Effects. Now, remember last week when I said I was going to tackle the anime trilogy that is currently on Netflix? Well, here you go, the first movie, Godzilla Planet of the Monsters. Well, the official Japanese title for this I found out is Monster Planet, but Planet of the Monsters sounds cooler to me, and I love how this movie's on Netflix, but I managed to download it onto my laptop in HD and in English. So yeah, it was nice. So I got lucky. So I was lucky to find it. Now I'm gonna tell you right now, it's so crazy how far Godzilla has come. It really has, because now here comes the year 2017. This movie came out, and wow, Godzilla has now hit anime status. Well, 1 year prior to this, there was an anime short featuring Shin Godzilla, but we don't talk about that little piece of shit. I watched it, and I'm sorry, it was terrible. I really did not like it. Like, the anime Shinji's design looked cool, but the way the little thing played out, the little episode played out, was just absolutely horrendous. We don't talk about that little piece of shit. Anyways, yeah, this is the real Godzilla anime right here. And what I so love, though, is the amount of, like, this movie has such a crazy storyline. It's like, I know I don't talk about plot so much, but before I get to that, these pictures, the pictures that I will be presenting in this slideshow are very, very out of sequence, because I was getting the place that I usually get my screenshots from only had like 2 screenshots of Godzilla on it, and that's not good enough, so I ended up going someplace else to get the screenshots here. I ended up going somewhere else to get them, so yeah, they are very out of sequence. I really do apologize for that. Now, I know I don't talk about plot so much on here, but it's like, this anime universe has a very interesting story, which is really enjoyable. It's like, monsters come up and they literally take over the planet, and Godzilla ends up being the most powerful one. Obviously, it's Godzilla. How can he not be the most powerful monster? And the special effects in this movie for an anime are solid. I mean, I loved the special effects for an anime. This is really good. This, honest to God, and once again, since it's an anime, and the amount of time and effort they put into this, there's no effects cons. Our second Godzilla movie with no effects cons. Like, dead serious. I found literally no effects cons in this movie at all. So yeah, here's the second Godzilla movie with 0 effects cons. And one thing I really do gotta say is, like, all the monsters that show up, they're like at the very, very start of the movie. I mean, they're a bunch of old monsters that Toho, I guess, dug up and decided to put in the movie, like Orga, Hedorah, Dogra the space monster, which is from its own solo movie, and no one hardly ever talks about it. Then you got Dagara, who was in the Mothra trilogy in the 90s, which is very interesting. Sorry, folks. Yeah, and Kamacuras is like the first monster to actually show up in the film. In silhouette, all of these monsters show up in silhouette, but it's like, yeah, you can clearly tell who they are. And they just start going in, destroying the world. Like, basically, monsters rule the world in this anime. All these giant monsters now rule the world, and Godzilla is the king. Godzilla's the official king of the world, and it's been 20,000 years on Earth, and humanity left Earth, and now they come back to reclaim it, but they have to fight Godzilla first. That's mainly the storyline for this movie, and now we're introduced to a brand new monster in the Godzilla franchise. This winged creature shown here. It's called a Servum. 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 And they're like these flying... They're these smaller flying monsters. Well, to a human they're huge, but to Godzilla they're like the size of a bird. Like the size of a pigeon or something. And they literally explain that the Servum are a subspecies of Godzilla. Now, you can kind of tell because if you look at the Servum's back, there's like little dorsal spikes. So yeah, I can see that. In all honesty, but they look like dragons or something. It's so interesting that they say that the Servum are a subspecies of Godzilla, which is really interesting. And they can die, at least like these things can die, because the humans kill like a crap ton of them throughout this movie. And here we have like a great effect shot. Well, actually, before I talk about this, the Servum's design is really good. It's a flying creature that has like 2 arms, wings. It has a very dragon raptor like design, but overall the execution, it looks really good though. The skin texture is all different, and I just really love this design of the Servum. And also I read this thing on Google Images yesterday. I got done watching this movie yesterday, and I was gonna make this video last night, but I ended up getting distracted by videos of the funny Tom Holland videos that are all over YouTube, like the funny moments. So I ended up getting distracted by YouTube last night. So yeah. So yeah, sorry. But here we have like a very amazing effect shot, and this is what I mean by the special effects are awesome. And for an anime, this is not traditionally made. For fans who do know this, including myself, the anime style used is 3D CG, which is a complete CG anime. A very interesting animation style, but it works great. It works really well. And especially effect shots like this one here, the explosions look amazing. They truly look for an anime, they look really realistic for this kind of art style. No, for this kind of animation style, I mean. And here we have Godzilla himself. And what's so interesting is there's 2 Godzillas in this movie. Like, this isn't the first time we've seen 2 Godzillas. I mean, they had it in Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla, 1974. There was Mechagodzilla came out of Mount Fuji as an imposter and posed as Godzilla for a little bit, and then the real one showed up. So yeah, it's not the first time we've seen 2 Godzillas in one movie, but this movie here, Planet of the Monsters, there are 2 Godzillas in this movie that are the same species. And what we've seen... Oh, if you hear that vibrating, I'm sorry, that's my phone. Because that is my girlfriend, Akio Yuichi, texting me. So, yeah. Big shout out to her. Link to her channel will be in the description below. Yeah, go check her channel out. She's got some, like, cute little funny videos. It's kind of cool, actually. Anyways, yeah, the interesting thing about the Godzillas in this movie is they're saying that the one that's mainly throughout the entire length of the movie, really, the first I think hour and 15 minutes of this movie is this Godzilla shown here, named Godzilla filius, which they say is like a baby or an offspring or something like that. And I don't know if this is true or not, because he moves really slowly. Literally, Godzilla moves so slow in this movie. I guess it's because he's so big. I guess if an animal that size would move very slowly. I guess that's the more realistic part or something. But I don't know if this size is true or not, but they say Godzilla filius is about 300 feet high or 350 feet. I'm not entirely sure about that. I read somewhere or heard somewhere, like on YouTube, can't remember where, but I heard that he was about 300 feet high. So yeah, I don't know if that's. Please confirm that in the description below if anybody knows how tall Godzilla Filius really is, and because he looks pretty friggin' huge. I mean, look at this. Once again, explosions look amazing when the humans shoot at him with the futuristic weaponry. And I mean, here's Godzilla Filius, and then you got human right next to him, off to the left, riding a little like hover. It looks like a hover bike. It looks like a future motorcycle looking thing, but it's got a machine gun on the front, which they use to shoot at Godzilla and the whole time. And this whole movie was just wow. You never would have thought Godzilla would ever get to anime status at this point, but I guess Toho wanted to do something different. I mean, this Godzilla movie, this is different than every other Godzilla movie that we've seen up to this point. Because usually Godzilla attacks cities. Well, at the beginning of the movie, Godzilla does attack cities, and in the little flashback that they do, it looks great. Like city up in flames and all kinds of mess. This movie is a really great piece of special effects. One great scene after another when it comes to the monsters and the explosions. It's really good for an anime. And it's just so funny how I just so can't believe it. It's like it's an interesting twist, and they say, "Oh yeah, this isn't the Godzilla that drove us away from Earth." And more about him when I get to that screenshot. Okay, well here you go. As I'm saying that, this Godzilla here, this is not Filius. This one is named Godzilla Earth, and why they call him that? Oh, because this is the biggest Godzilla on record. Literally, this is the world's biggest Godzilla from the entire franchise. This Godzilla tops out at 300 meters, or 1,000 feet tall. No joke. No joke. 1,000 feet. Huge. And here I thought the MonsterVerse Godzilla was big. Just wow. Just wow. And this was in a flashback when the main human character, Haruo Sakagi, and I would not be surprised if they named this character after Haruo Nakajima, who played as Godzilla in the OG franchise from 1954 to 1972. I would not be surprised if that's where they named that character from in this movie. But anyways, enough about the people. We're talking about the effects. Anyways, so the flashback scene is awesome. It's Godzilla invading this airport where the humans are trying to evacuate Earth, and Godzilla just shoots down one of the shuttles, basically killing a bunch of people in the process. And if you listen really closely to the roar after Godzilla does this, after Godzilla Earth does it, it's the 1954 roar. Now, the sound effects in this movie for Godzilla are literally every roar he makes is something from the original 28 film franchise. Like in the screenshot before this, you hear the 1954 roar. You have to really listen closely for it, but I caught it. But I caught it when I was watching it yesterday. When Akio Yuichi and I were both watching it yesterday. And then the other roar he makes is one of the snarls from the TriStar film, actually. When Godzilla Filius here, when he first shows up in the movie, you hear the 2002 roar mixed with the TriStar 1998 roar, which is very surprising. I'm very surprised they even use that roar in this movie. And then you hear the 2003 roar at the end. So all the vocalizations for Godzilla are from the original 28. But Godzilla filius, though, he mainly growls. He mainly does these more animalistic growling sounds. They're roars, but I don't know. This Godzilla is just it's very different. What I so love about this is it's a Godzilla movie, but it's really different. They took Godzilla in a new direction, and I keep on saying the special effects in this movie are great, especially with the explosion sounds and Godzilla's atomic. Well, actually, I'll get to his atomic breath when I get to that screenshot because it's really different. Everything about this Godzilla universe, this time, the anime timeline, is so different. Like, Godzilla did attack a city, at the very beginning of the movie, but then that's the only time he ever does it. The rest of the time, this is 20,000 years in the future, so it's Godzilla in a heavily jungle forest environment, and Godzilla just acts like a regular animal defending his territory, I guess. Oh, and here's one of the best shots. This is wallpaper worthy right here, folks. Here's Godzilla's new atomic breath, and what happens is it's this shield that forms around him. Like, Godzilla can make this shield around this electromagnetic shield around him, and he gets surrounded by this wave of energy that forms the shield, and it's out of his back plates, actually, the way they explain it. And he shoots this blue beam out of his mouth, and yeah, that's the extent, but it goes on but it's about as I guess as powerful as Shin's, I guess, but it's just so interesting that it's this blue beam. It's this. I mean, I know Shin had a purple beam, but this one, just this blue beam, is just wow. I don't know. I guess it would have been better if they would have went with actual, like, 2002 style atomic breath. But I love the fact that it's blue. I love the fact that it's blue, that his atomic breath is the classic blue color in this movie, which is amazing. And I love Godzilla's design. This is still Godzilla filius. And I love the design. The Godzilla design is really cool. The skin, every other time we've seen Godzilla, he's always had, or the species anyway, has always had very scaly skin, always like reptilian scaly skin. This Godzilla has more. Okay, I'm gonna have to point this out because a lot of fans have said that, and I'll post the video in from D-Man 1954's video where he explains Godzilla in the. Oh, and here's a great shot of his face. See, great detailing on his face. Amazing detail, and it looks more dinosaur-ish. It looks more dinosaur-like. I like that. I love the more dinosaur look that they give Godzilla in this movie. Anyways, a lot of fans have been saying that Godzilla in the anime universe is a giant tree, like Groot, but that's not even remotely true. I'm saying that right now. That's not true. It's just the people, when the creators of this movie, when it came to the skin texture, they got the inspiration from trees. Godzilla's not a mutated moss or a mutated plant or none of that in this movie. He's not, because there's not one point in this entire movie that says he's a mutant tree. It's not Groot. He's not Grootzilla. He's Godzilla. He's still a reptile. He's still a dinosaur. He's still a regular flesh and blood animal that's just really overpowered. Anyways, yeah, it's just that his skin texture was inspired by trees. He's not a tree. He was inspired by trees for the skin texture. That's exactly what the creator said for the design team. I just had to point that out now because I don't believe in the whole animal plant fusion thing unless it's Biollante, because with Biollante that is the only kaiju that actually makes sense. Anyways, I just had to get that out of the way because I hate it when fans say that Godzilla's basically like living a giant version of Groot. Anyways, I will post for better explanation on that subject about the anime Godzilla species. I will post D-Man 1954's video of that in the description below, so you can get a better understanding, because he understands it better than I do. Anyways, yeah, and his skin texture is so cool. It looks very. I love how muscular Godzilla is. I mean, the bulkiness looks very reminiscent of 2014. It has a very 2014-ish kind of anatomy, but he has bulging muscles and his skin is all rough, and oh my god, it's just everything about this movie is just, for an anime, is super perfect. I mean, I truly enjoyed watching this. It's a good hour. It's an hour and 28 minutes long. It's an hour and 28 and a half minutes long, and this is a great movie. This is a really good movie overall. And I don't know, I just keep on talking about like the explosion. Oh, and also one thing that helps with the effects is also the designs of not only the monsters, but the machinery that the humans use to shoot at them with. Now, the little hover bikes, I call them hover bikes because they look like motorcycles. They really do, just without wheels. Now, the hover bikes that the humans fly around and shoot at Godzilla with, they mainly just have machine guns on the. They mainly, just have machine guns on the front of them. But then there's these really cool, like walkers that I just swear the people when the staff that made this movie, quite literally had to have watched movies like Aliens or Avatar, or Starship Troopers 3 Marauder, because I kid you not, they have machine walkers in this movie that the humans can pilot. And I love the designs, but the fact that it's a machine walker and a person can be inside of it, it's just like, really, that is in so many movies, it's not even funny. And then you have these double turret tanks that they roll around they either walk around or roll around on robotic legs, and they sound like pew pew guns. They have a very interesting sound effect to them, but they just sound like pew pew guns. Literally, I'm dead serious. And here we go. This here is Godzilla Earth, and this is at the very end of the movie. And I love Godzilla Earth's abilities. Now, Filius mainly had the atomic breath. He mainly just had the shield and the atomic breath, but Earth on the other... Yeah, Filius, sorry. I think I said Filius? Yeah, Earth on the other hand has far more greater abilities. Now, this shot here... Now, I love the environment design. It looks very like a natural... It's like, it really shows, like, if 20,000 years have gone by, this is what Earth would basically look like. And this here is a really great effect, because apparently Godzilla can move his tail at the speed of sound or something like that. Because when he swings his tail, this big wave of energy comes out, and this sound wave comes out, and it literally just obliterates everything that's in front of him. So yeah, and it's just so funny, like, Godzilla looks mean. Like, Godzilla Earth just looks so, just really angry. He looks really mean, like a snarling dog, like a very snarling crocodile or something like that. And I don't know, it's just... Oh, and here's another ability. Sorry to cut myself off, but here's another ability Godzilla Earth has. They call this the super oscillatory wave, which is a sound wave coming out of his mouth that literally also obliterates anything in front of it. And he just has this very bumpy skin texture. It's just so interesting. Like Godzilla's new abilities that he has. The oscillatory wave is like one of the most interesting ones because it's not really his atomic breath, but it's like constant. It's like it's either a sound oscillatory. Honest to God, I have not ever looked up oscillatory wave before. But by the way it looks in this movie, it's either a wave of heat or a wave of sound or something like that. One of those two. yeah, but overall, it's just a very interesting. It's a very interesting ability that Godzilla Earth has, and I just so love it though how Godzilla he literally just takes down both Godzillas. They take down everybody in this movie. Literally, like humanity comes down to Earth trying to claim it from Godzilla, and it's like, wow, just wow, and they get their asses whooped like hard. I mean, they really have an ass beaten by the end of this movie. So yeah, one other piece of effects work that I do gotta mention that's very interesting. When the Godzillas form their shield to produce the either oscillatory wave or the atomic breath, the dorsal fins they glow, but they don't glow like we've seen in the other films in this franchise. This big wave of electric shocks form over the backplates before they shoot, which is very interesting, which is different. That's fresh and new. Oh, and here we have a shot of a dead Servam. Yeah, this is like I said. The pictures that I'm using in this slideshow are very out of sequence, and I am really sorry how out of sequence these pictures are. I really am, like truly, I really am. I do apologize of how out of sequence these are. And yeah, here we have a shot of a dead Servam, and like I said, I love the design of the Servam. They do have multiple eyes on the head, if you can tell. They do have like multiple. I think they got like 3 eyes on each side of the head. Excuse me, razor sharp teeth. The wings, and they say like it's a subspecies of Godzilla. I know I said that before, but it's just like, really, a subspecies of Godzilla that can fly. I don't know what else to say. I really don't know what else to. Honest to God, I don't know what to say about that. I don't know what else to say about that. It's just, I mean, I did mention at the beginning of this video, it is a subspecies because if you look at the creature's back, from the base of the neck down the dorsal surface, the back spines that it has look very similar to Godzilla. They do. They look very similar to Godzilla, so that would make sense for Servam to be in the same family. Oh, and there's this thing about the Servam. I was like at the beginning of mentioning something about this at like the very start or very middle of this video, and I cut myself off. There's this thing about the Servums that I read that said that Godzilla may be somehow controlling the Servam, because apparently the word Servam I don't know if it's in Japanese language or something, I don't know what language Serva means, but I read that Serva means slave. So I guess Godzilla can be controlling the Servam? Godzilla filius? I don't know. But I just thought I should mention it because I saw that yesterday and I'm thinking, huh, really? I just thought it was very interesting. Oh, and here, okay, right at the end of this shot here, this screenshot here, it's very rare in the Godzilla franchise that we get to see Godzilla die. It's so rare, and it rarely, once in a blue moon, ever happens in the franchise for Godzilla to die, but Godzilla filius blows up. I mean, the humans put these EMP things in these EMP generators in his back, and it screws with Godzilla's, his shield, Godzilla filius's, electromagnetic shielding, and his atomic breath or whatever. It screws him up on the inside, and basically he tries to shoot his atomic breath at Haruo, and he literally commits suicide. He blows himself up without realizing it, and you just have like this Godzilla with no head. Like literally the head blows up and the rest of the body's just sitting there. So yeah, it's really rare that that in the franchise we ever see Godzilla die. Or a Godzilla in some cases. So it's just wow. Okay. But yeah, everything about Godzilla Planet of the Monsters, the first movie in the anime trilogy, and I will be covering the other 2 films. I will be covering those. I will be reviewing them. Let me just come on. Let me just get back to the poster. Yeah. Okay, Godzilla Planet of the Monsters. I am flat out giving this movie a solid. This is getting a solid 10 out of 10. This is another one getting a complete solid 10 out of 10. Great special effects for an anime film. Great, really cool monster designs. The machinery designs that are, well, that's Haro up front, for those who have not seen this movie. That's Haro up front there, walking in front of all the awesome machinery in the background. I know there's a poster that actually has Godzilla on it, but and you're probably going to say, why didn't you get that poster? Well, as I was looking through Google Images to find a good sized poster, this was like, at the time, this was like the best one this is like the biggest one I can get. So I'm sorry about that. But yeah, 10 out of 10 for, like, definitely a 10 out of 10 for special effects and no effects cons. Recommendation? Die-hard Godzilla fans and anime fans, because I know nowadays anime is a big thing. It's always been a big thing, but I guess nowadays it's gotten bigger. So yeah, anime fans and Godzilla fans will definitely get a good kick out of this one. So yeah, those are my thoughts on the first movie in the anime trilogy, Godzilla Planet of the Monsters. So please hit me up a like, subscribe to not only this channel, but to Megas Dragon for the logo. The link to his channel will be in the description below, as well as the movie reviews library, because Megas Dragon's with me and my boy Alan on that channel. We do movie reviews. And like I said, I'll post the D-Man 1954 video in the link in the description. So yeah, see you next week when I tackle City on the Edge of Battle, the second movie in the anime trilogy.